Hello and welcome to the Every Other Saturday podcast, a brand new episode this week where we'll be talking about yesterday's game against Aberdeen, which saw us, as the title says, book our place in the cup final with Celtic to come in February. It's going to be a blockbuster of a match. Cup final, sorry, against your biggest rivals are never easy and never fun to even think about. As soon as that game finished yesterday, I'm already thinking, look, this is going to be the most nerve-wracking day possible for a title. So but we got there, and that's the main thing. We'll talk about how we got there and our thoughts on the game and the team. Also look at the game coming up against Kilmarnock as they're coming thick and fast.
Mm.
Short, I think it'll be quite a lot of changes for that actually. Just with how much the team put into yesterday's game, and then a couple of transfer rumours that we'll talk about as well. We're planning to do who we would want to sign, but that will still hopefully come. We've just not had time to make the format for it, but as always, if you could like, subscribe, and share for us, it's always very appreciated. And let us know your thoughts on the game and down the comments. So, firstly, obviously, we got to show the man Kemar Roof come back to win us the game, and he done it in style with a nice finish in extra time. And
Mm.
it's just good to get over this Hampden curse over the past season. I mean, obviously we beat Celtic there and then won the Scottish Cup, and now we've obviously beat Aberdeen and then getting to another final. That Hampden curse is just always played on us before that, though. I mean, times we were not even scoring goals at Hampden. Always just seemed to really be a bad place for us, but we're over that, and I thought we played quite well yesterday. Actually, I don't know how that game needed extra time. I thought for large parts of the first half we were the only team in it. Aberdeen were always going to play that counter-attacking way. They would try and catch us out, and they did. To be fair to them, a couple of times. That the first one is offside, but Miovski's through and he's got time to think about what he's got to do for about 10, 15 seconds before there's a Rangers player back. Obviously, he's offside. Nice finish to him, or is it poor on Al McGregor's part? Like, how's he even letting that ball go into that goal? Obviously, it was offside, but he nearly timed his run to perfection, and that was just one of the kind of alarming bells for me at the start of the game. And then obviously they get through with just a lapse of concentration in defence, and Miovski eventually puts Aberdeen 1-0 up after we had chance after chance, really. Sakala hitting the post early on, Morelos having a couple of chances. One which he thought was over the line, I've not actually seen back, but I
Mm.
think for the first half, we dominated the game.
Random riot, mate. First off, I'm thinking about maybe messaging my boy Keeman sorting out with that wee hairline. You know what I mean? No, I thought it should have been done in the first half for me. Do you know what I mean? Maybe for me personally, Sakala could finish a bit better. We would have had one or two goals in. The Morelos one, it's no a goal. It doesn't. Although I like the attitude to just put the hand up and say, "Oh, cross the line there." But I just thought we outplayed them first half. Didn't think they were in the game at all. As you say, hitting us on the counter. I would say it was McGregor more likely with the first chance for them, and then obviously with the second one where they get through. Just Barisic sleeping again for me. I mean, Jesus Christ. But no, overall, I thought we dominated them. Like, thought we ran them riot. I know we maybe have a wee bit of split opinion on Tillman, but I thought he had a decent enough game. I thought he was I thought he played really well yesterday. I thought Tav was a bit better as well, and I know he was getting the ball away and what have you, but just, just tracking back some of the balls he was playing through at Tavernier, I was liking the link up play. But for me, I just wasn't a big fan of Lundstrom yesterday. If I thought MD was to come off, it would have maybe took him off. But to be fair to the players, that park it was a disgrace, absolutely shocking. But overall, mate, we get the job done. As you say, getting this sort of wee curse that they've had for it seems like for the last couple of seasons, finally starting to get rid of it. Obviously beating Celtic and potentially in another final, can we get the job done again?
Well, this is what it's all about. Like, we want to get to this game for, like, I couldn't imagine the criticism Michael Beale would have came under for obviously getting beaten this game. It would have been his first defeat, of course, and the fact that he's kept that running since he's been at the club with the unbeaten start is remarkable with this group of players. To be honest with you, this is a group of players I thought was done, and he's squeezed every inch he possibly could out of them. Now, I mean, Roof's away down injured again. Cholak's constantly injured, and you've just kept players picking up injuries left, right, and centre. No sign of many coming back, but to comment on your two players, Malik Tillman, I'm a huge fan of the guy. I love him as a player, but for me, I thought he had one of his poorer games yesterday. To be quite honest with you, I thought he had moments in the game where he was getting the ball and he was having nice link up play with Tavernier and Sakala down that right hand side, and he was playing a good few passes in for me. I thought he was maybe just always a question. He's just maybe too slow in the ball. Just maybe needs
Aye,
to be a bit more urgent with things, and I can understand the shouts with him being a bit lazy, but I thought I didn't think he had his best game. I think he maybe get lost in it. To be honest with you, I
I
think he might
disagree
get lost
with
in the game.
maybe get lost in the game. I disagree with the lazy part, mate. He tracked back. Anytime he lost the ball, he was tracking back. He was making sure. Do you know what I mean? I disagree with any of the shouts him being lazy. Do you know what I mean? Aye, does he maybe think too much on the ball or whatever you dilly dally on the ball? Absolutely. But you can't argue, as we say, mate. There's a quality player there. And so, as I say, some of the passing yesterday for himself was just fantastic. Obviously, as I say, you'll probably touch on Lundstrom now, but see, for me, just thought he was a passenger in the game for me personally. I didn't think he offered much,
Yeah,
really.
Lundstrom just again, he had moments, but like he's when we're pushing for a goal and he's just sort of back and forth, side
Oh,
to side. He's not trying to really take, apart from the one in the very last minutes of the game where he plays the 1-2 and he gets a shot. It's obviously straight into the goalkeeper's hands. Lundstrom, I think it's because of how good Ryan Jack was yesterday, to be honest with you. I think
aye,
he outshone him in every single department. I mean, since Ryan Jack's come back into the team under Michael Beale, I think he's been outstanding. Last
different.
week against Dundee United, second half, best player on the pitch by a mile. Yesterday, man of the match, goal. I thought he was, again, the best player on the pitch. I think it's maybe down to that as well. Lundstrom's obviously been good at parts, but I mean, even when he's passing straight to an Aberdeen shirt, it's just frustrating watching him at times. And
Sometimes
as you say, he was probably rightfully subbed off when he was.
you're on about lack of concentration or whatever, so he's just standing there sometimes around or just playing the 1-2 past him. I'm thinking, come on, get out and fucking press them, let them see, you know what I mean? But right, if you're going to touch on MD and all, listen, I thought Jack was sensational again. And a guy just for me does the work, just does the work, does the dirty side of the game as well. So I was happy to see him get the goal and silence that lot as well, which was good for him. I know he'll join that one. Ryan Kent as well. I thought,
No,
see,
Ryan Kent was outstanding.
just watching him float around the park, just going wherever he wants, it's fantastic, man. As I say, for me, give him the contract now, whatever he wants.
And
Give him
especially
it, man.
see the engine on the guy. He has went 120 minutes non-stop, and even at the last minutes of the game, he's busting forward and try to make stuff happen. Like there is, give that guy more than MD at the club. I just can't even believe we're debating it. Like he's unbelievable. He can play
Man,
in the pockets of space. He can play out wide. He's a constant threat out there all the time. And as you say, he's engineering. He'll play 120 minutes every week if he could. I think he's just a special player, and if it has to be at the end of the season, we're just going to need to really appreciate his qualities while he's still here, because for some reason the board don't appreciate his qualities to give him the fucking contract that he wants. So, I thought he was great. I thought even Fashion Sakala was great again yesterday as well, though he had a few chances
finishing,
he
man.
probably should have put away.
It's
But
finishing.
I thought at times he was a real threat, and he was nearly killed by Anthony Stewart for that one at the red card. But I think out of your attackers, I'd probably put Morelos at the bottom of me. I thought Morelos was largely ineffective to the game, apart from the assist
Jack.
for Ryan Jack's goal. I thought he was sort of ineffective. I didn't really have many chances, did he? And that's kind of been the story, Alfredo Morelos.
They
And
had obviously the one where he was through on goal, but I think he panicked and he just thought, fuck it, I win it. Take the guy on. Do you know what I mean? I thought to myself, take him on, get yourself in the box, bottom cross, you know what I mean? But
Mhm.
I could agree, maybe, you know what I mean, sums up probably a thing. I mean, I think he went off a bit frustrated that he came off, obviously get the assist, probably thought he was playing well. But I can understand why. Listen, I was just enjoying watching some of the link up play for our players and just to see our players going forward and just being aggressive, winning the ball, and as I say, dominating. Defensively, as I say, Connor Goldson and Ben Davies, a fantastic partnership.
No,
Um,
I can't believe I seen something on Twitter today. I don't know if you seen my
I
retweet on it,
seen
but it
it.
was a guy that said Connor Goldson's not good enough for Rangers. What the fuck is that about? Like Connor Goldson, again, without doubt, the best centre half we've had for years. Again, puts in a really, really top shift. Limited Aberdeen to very few chances, if anything, and none of them are really his fault. To be honest with you, if it did, Ben Davies obviously was unfortunate with the goal, but he'll learn from mistakes like that, and he learned throughout this game. Ben Davies was first to everything. He's comfortable with the ball at his feet, and he's commanding at the back. And the two of them, as you say, having a really good partnership. I just couldn't understand Goldson having a bad game.
No, you can't
Goldson,
have a.
when does Goldson ever have a bad game?
He
Like,
never. Nah, it's really few now. He does it, as I say, mate. You can't. For me, you can't criticise him at all. He's a leader in every sense. As we say all the time, he's probably the real captain. Just leads in every sense of the way in the park. I mean, obviously you were there. I was watching it, but even watching it, you can still hear him being vocal. Do you know what I mean? Up, if they press, let's go. But I'm looking forward to, as I say, hopefully having these two for a couple of seasons as a partnership. As I say, I thought Tav played really well yesterday as well. I thought he had more himself. I looked more on himself, making the runs down the right hand side and whatever.
I still think his deliveries are just so poor.
Aye,
I
absolutely.
think maybe for again, hats off to him for playing the fully extra time. Again, like after obviously the season he's had maybe niggling injuries in there and that, but hats off to him for playing the full 120 minutes. I don't think it was a dazzling display, to be honest with you,
No,
but
absolutely. But it was
I
just a
mean
bit better than what I've
he did
seen,
look a
man.
bit better. Than recently. Borna Barisic he had I get a few decent deliveries into the box, which you can't say about Tavernier, but I mean the goals just how does that even happen? And then probably lucky to stay in the pitch again with the tackle he made in the second half. Rightfully so, he went off and Adam Devine came on for a short cameo. But I thought Barisic was we just need Ridvan Yilmaz to come back and really compete for that spot, because Barisic is just too comfortable in there. And when he gets too comfortable, he ends up playing his worst football, because when Yilmaz was there and maybe not getting a look in, he was playing all right. And then when Devine obviously was there and he get put back in, he's straight back to playing well. But I think maybe a competition
You could
issue for
argue that.
Barisic.
I think you could argue that both for him and Tavernier. I'm just going to clarify all those words negatively towards Barisic were from Jack, not from me, just in case his old man's listening. But no, I'll probably agree with you. I didn't get a great game at all, really.
I thought the
Looking at that
fullbacks were
tackle as
a
well was shocking.
bit. I thought Aberdeen put up a really good fight though. To be fair to them, like it was a really good game. You're expecting maybe Aberdeen to come out and try and protect their lead, which they did to an extent, but they had their game plan, they stuck to it, and they tried to play open football and they tried to really get their attacking players on the ball. I thought Duke's a really good player.
Aye, he's a
He
really, really good player.
he's a good player, and I don't really see him sticking around for long. And he could be on one of these lists where I want to sign him, because he looks good. At 22 years old as well, he's obviously started
Where
the
was
season
he?
off on fire.
Was he not in Portugal? Was it with
Aye,
Benfica?
Benfica, he was at.
Benfica, aye. So
So he's got that pedigree behind him as well. Obviously being at a good club, and I thought he had a good game. I thought the left back Hayden Coulson had a really good game as well for Aberdeen. He really kind of limited Tavernier and Sakala to very little in the net, and I forgot Tavernier actually hit the bar as well. That was one. The
aye.
game went on for that long that I forgot he had that chance. But it's Aberdeen. You just even the Kilmarnock Celtic game as well. Like, Kilmarnock went for it, and Kilmarnock were unlucky they didn't get anything out of it, and so were Aberdeen. And you just prefer to have games like that for Scottish football. To be honest with you, I thought it was a really good contest, and thankfully we came out and told me to play Celtic in February, because even at that I don't expect Aberdeen doing anything against Celtic. But we've got time to wait for this one, and then even the subs came on as well. Like Scott Wright setting up the goal, Roof scoring the goal. It was obviously good to see the man that we all love on this podcast and this channel anyway, scoring the winning goal. And it was fantastic actually for Scott Wright, to be honest with you. Like, just Hampden as his home.
He runs it. No, it was fantastic to see Kilmarnock come back on and get some minutes and do what he does best, man. Pops the ball. As you said to us before the game, if there's MD perfect for this kind of game with that kind of park, it's Kilmarnock all day long. And I was happy to see him come on. Obviously, he's going down with another injury, but if he's fit and firing, he's on his day. I'll argue with MD. He's the best striker at the club, man.
Yeah.
Scott Wright, as I say, runs Hampden. And it was a McCann that came on as well. So
McCann, Arfield, Kamara obviously came on as well.
I thought
Done no harm to the lineup really. All of them came on and made an impact.
I thought Arfield was going to come on a bit earlier. I think it was like just start of second half. I think he was going to bring on, but obviously brought him on when he did. But It's the same, mate. Just really good to obviously get to a final for Michael Beale. Starter, hopefully many more to come. Obviously, when the team sheet first came out, was a bit nervous because McGregor's in goal. I really, I was.
Aye, McGregor's absolutely done. Like
He finished, man. He
he's
finished.
just he's shite, man. He's just
It
every
says,
time they get a corner, a set piece, they
aye,
went forward. I'm actually near enough behind everybody in the stadium, trying not to watch it because McGregor is just. I don't have any faith in him at all. He made a couple of good saves at the end, but even for the goal, he's standing no man's land. Like the disallowed goal, he's nowhere. Like at corners, he doesn't come out and try and grab the ball. He's too slow with his
just
distribution. I
it's
mean,
sad to watch, man. For me, honestly, like it really is. This is a guy who's an absolute legend of the club. Just to know that he should have packed it in for me, for most days, should have packed it in at that Hearts game, winning the cup, go out like that. And just as I say, it's just no fun watching him in the net, man.
no,
How secure you used to feel with him and goal, and now you're just anyone.
nah,
You know what
it's
I
just
mean?
it's finished for Al McGregor. But at least we won the game and we move on to the final. But we've got Kilmarnock to take care of away from home. Notoriously, again,
Difficult.
awful pitch to go and play on. After, I mean, the 120 minutes you're going to play on that Hampden pitch to then move to here. It's no been easy on us, but I think there'll be a lot of changes due to that. To be honest with you, I think Michael Beale said obviously in his press conference before the game, the squad's going to need to be utilised to its maximum potential, and we're going to need to see everybody play minutes at some point, and obviously if they're fit. The team I've went with, I don't have a clue if this is what he'll go with, but the goalkeeper for me has to change. McLaughlin will come in. Kilmarnock are going to attempt to play high balls into the box and use set pieces. McLaughlin's going to be perfect for that. He comes out and he commands his box. So for me, he comes in. I was having debates over if Tavernier will play, to be honest with you. I thought maybe Devine would go over there.
It's not even. Don't think he
But
will. But
Tavernier and
you
Golson will
know,
both play.
absolutely.
I think Leon King will come back in. I think he might get a start actually because Davies, you'd like to keep him fit, and I really don't want to see him playing on this pitch after him having many injuries and then playing obviously the full game. Sands has been injured, so I also don't think he'll play centre half again because Michael Beale said he wants to get him in midfield where he plays. So hopefully he'll be back for this game and we can sort of see him in there. I'm dropping Barisic. I'm starting Divine. I can't watch Barisic play anymore, man. He's just every single time we can see the goal, it's his fault. Um, so for me, he drops out. Arfield, I think, is a cert to start actually for the fact that he didn't come on until like half time and extra time. I think Tillman again going off early, perfect for this kind of game with the passes and the runs that Arfield and the players up front will make. I don't think Ryan Jack will play because he again played a lot of minutes. Lundstrom obviously came off. He's been nursing an injury. It could be Kamara in there. To be honest with you, it could
I could see
be.
Kamara, I was about to say. I could see Kamara playing. But
um,
again, I'm just going to say again, Jack, sorry, I don't keep me hanging with the listeners here, but those are Jack's thoughts on Barisic, uh, just in case his old man's watching.
And then the front three, I think I can't see him going with Morelos, and I can't see him starting Cholak after just being back for injury. So the front
Uh,
three that we've seen against was at Ross County. I can't remember
uh,
if Wright started that game, but Sakala through the middle, Kent, and then Scott Wright. I don't think Sakala deserves to be dropped, and Kent
no.
can play football every single minute of the day if he wanted. I think so. He'll be fine. And then I think Scott Wright actually deserves to get a start after impacting the game that he did. I mean, I'm all waiting for him maybe subbed at half time because he was shite. But I mean, if he can show anything he did at Hampden, I mean, I'll be happy because he put in a really good showing. But I expect there to be quite a lot of changes. Unfortunate probably for Alex Lowry, McCann, not to make the lineup, but obviously two youngsters I would have in there. And then we'll see who else comes back for injury. Cholak might not be back. There might be players out again. We'll just need to wait and see.
We'll need to wait and see at all. Listen, I think that's a good shout. Most of that team, I just think maybe Davies will play. I think I could see that. But I think the team's a real good shout. Front three, definitely, I could see that. McLaughlin has taken back in. I can't do it, man. I cannot watch McGregor play.
Especially like Michael Beale said against Dundee United, like he played McLaughlin for that reason. I think Kilmarnock are going to be the exact same, so can't see
Yeah.
him reverting on that.
But no, as I say, I'm just pray nothing happens to Tillman if he's to play in that park. As I say, disgusting that that kind of parks in this, as I
It's
say,
one of the
top.
games you just need to get it done as quickly as you
Aye,
can, and then just take off all the players you want to protect, and then
exactly.
go that way. But I will see. Obviously, press conference is going to be tomorrow. We'll hear about transfer targets. Hopefully,
Okay.
we'll hear
The
about
business being
players
done,
coming
Jack,
out.
would be nice.
Aye, and that's actually what we're going to go into next. Is Todd Cantwell? Todd Cantwell. It feels like years ago we heard this rumor. There's never been anything other than Rangers are interested. Michael Beale spoke about it, and he said, "Aye, it's going in the right direction." We all kind of expect to have this guy in, but PSV are now in for him. Is what I've seen. So a late twist of the tail could be, or it could be Rangers have already got the deal done, and that's all sort of agent talk. But
Mm.
we've
They
not
could
actually
have,
spoke on Cantwell, I don't think,
no,
properly. But ever since the rumour came up, where we both seen it was going to be out of contract, it's sort of fit into Ross Wilson's profile, didn't it? Players he would sign, and he's obviously been left out of the Norwich team. He's no longer going to be playing there, so I mean, he's going to be moving in this window. It's a guy who Liverpool wanted to replace Gini Wijnaldum with a couple of seasons back. He had a really good season with Norwich that year as well. Upwards of 50 million if you wanted to get his services. So it's a guy that has had a lot of promise in the past, but
mm,
a lot of problems with Mashu, and this is what I've been thinking about over the past couple of weeks since I heard this, is you can't help but look at your rivals, right? Your rivals are signing players who are doing it in their league consistently for the big teams, players that are on show at the World Cup, and they're getting them in to improve their team, where we're hoping that players will revitalise and have the form they had years ago. They're taking a risk in the right direction. I think we're taking a risk for the latter. I think this could go. This
either
could
way.
100% be one of the best signings we'll make. Or it could be like, nah, he's never going to be that good again. I don't know. But since I've heard the rumor, I want him here anyway. I think at 24, he's still got years and years ago to go to find that talent, and I'd expect him to find it here. It's just, is he the kind of player that has the mentality to play for Rangers?
It's a good question, mate. I think that is a really good question, but I think somebody like Michael Beale could 100% unlock that talent that is absolutely 100% there. By the way, see with the rumours with PSV, I mean, I just, why would you go, bro? Like, come on, I get he fits what we're looking for. He could probably play out on that right hand side, a position we've been desperate to replace, as I said, since Candace left. That, as you say, there is that obviously the worries maybe are we going a certain way. I don't know, mate. I'm just, for me, more of the worries is obviously what he does off the park. I mean, he's hanging about with YouTubers and all this part. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever, but you know what I mean. You don't want him to get lost up in all the social medias. You look at your Jesse Lingards and your Dele Alli's and all that. And look how their careers turned out. You know what I mean? When they were supposed to be promising talents, I think he's got bags of potential there. As I say, 24 or so. I mean, it's still many great years of football ahead of him if he focuses, gets his head down. I mean, I just think he needs a change of scenery. He's been at Norwich for far too long.
Nah,
If he's being honest with himself, and he should have probably moved at a certain point. I think right now he should make the jump. I think everything about it, for me, it makes sense. But by the way, we did get off the podcast before this rumour started, and when we were coming up for obviously next week's episode, we were thinking maybe players, and we thought, what about someone like Cadwell? And then magically it's all kicking off, so it's crazy. But I personally hope that the player looks and goes, do you know what, that's a place where I could go play my football. By the way, you're going to get to win trophies up here. You're going to be playing European football. So I'll always make that point of view. If you're thinking about going to a championship team, same if he goes to Holland as well, he'll be doing the exact same. But I just think he needs to get away from where he is, and needs maybe a coach like Michael Beale to unlock that potential that's obviously
nah.
that you've seen, but also is still there, mate. So it'd be interesting, as I say. I look at somebody like Kent. Kent, when you look at him, mate, people
Kent
go,
was kind of similar, to be honest, when we signed
exactly.
him.
Do you know what I mean? He was sort of like what Coventry. He was in what lower Bundesliga teams as well. So then obviously gets to move up here, and looks how crucial and important he's been for us ever since, man. And that's why we paid the big fee we paid for Ryan Kent. But with this guy getting him on a free, it just makes sense. It's a Ross Wilson kind of deal. I'll sign him on the free. Championship sort of where he scouts, and obviously we know the Belgian league as well. So I just think everything about it makes sense for me personally.
Nah, I think so as well. Like, just for the way we want to play under Michael Beale, like we've not really got allocated positions to the front three. It's kind of just they'll all change and they'll all play everywhere, and I think he's perfect for that. Even if he has to drop back midfield as well, I think he can obviously do that. But he's a skillful, talented player, and you just hope that he's looking at this and he's like, no, I want to go move and revitalise my career, play for a big club and
man.
challenge myself. So I think it'd be a huge coup for us to get him, especially because of where he's been in the past. But I just don't hope like that's all we kind of look at when we go and scout players. Like this one makes sense 100%, but I mean, when we're signing players, they were good then, so we'll just sign them now and see if they're that good still. Like, I don't really like that
It's a
strategy.
valid, no, 100%, mate. It's a valid point, but at the end of the day, I have faith in my manager. I really do
Oh,
have
I
faith
have
in
faith in
him.
Beale. I just don't have faith in anybody else there.
No, no, 100%. You never know, mate. You never know. I would like to sign him, mate. As you say, he's versatile and whatever. I just think it'd be a good signing. I just think
It's exciting for the fans as well. I think
absolutely.
to see him on the pitch first time, and for me it's a goal, and I hope it's a goal for everybody because I would like to hopefully get a signing in 2-3 this week because it's getting beyond a
Oh,
joke now.
Wayne
And
Michael.
then this man has also came to the forefront today. Rumours in Wales and a lot of reporters close to Swansea saying we're in for this guy Morgan Whittaker.
Mm.
He's been on loan at Plymouth Argyle this season. He's been recalled by Swansea. When he was at Plymouth Argyle, he had 9 goals and 7 assists, and that's only in the first half of the season. Obviously playing League One football, but he's still 22. He can play again across the front three positions, which exactly is what's needed. Hopefully a player that Michael Beale can then develop and make it into a better player. He's also really good with working with young talent. I've heard we've had one bid rejected. Not sure if that's true or anything. I've not actually heard anybody for Rangers sort of comment on the player, but for what I'm seeing is we've bid for him, had the bid rejected, and surely you sort of testing the waters with that one. You maybe go back in for him because it looks like he's not going to get his chance at Swansea. At first, when I was looking at this, I'm like, are you serious? A guy that can't get a game for Swansea? But then I looked at his stats, I looked at the kind of player he is. For me, just he'll fit the system perfectly.
See, I'll make the point here again. Obviously, the debate we had, hanging with Campbell sort of kind of there. I mean, Plymouth Argyle League One, do you know what I mean? I know you've got to give players a chance. I trust Michael Beale 100%, whoever he wants to bring in. I know how good a coach he is, but I'm thinking to myself, we've got to be even higher. You know what I mean?
I know, I 100%
We
agree as
want to
well.
sign players that can play Champions League, Europa League level football. Obviously, Michael Beale wants to develop. I know we still obviously want to bring players in, make sure they play well for us, and then sell them on and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know anything about this guy. I'm not going to act like I do or what have you. I mean, he looks like he's got a good bit of size about him. So
Nah, I just found out about him today, really, through the rumours. And I thought the exact same thing as well. I'm like, English Championship again. Can
in
we look
theory, I
anywhere
know
else for a
exactly
player?
that's just what annoys me. Is like, why can't we look at somewhere else? Players where they've got experience in Champions League, big games, and what have you. Obviously, as I say, clearly got something going on the Championship, and as I say, the Belgians as well. So I don't know, mate. For me, I'm like a bit iffy, but I was a bit iffy with Cholak. I was a bit iffy with.
You're always going to be iffy with signings. I think. Like, I think we all are. There's the very rare few that you come in and you're like, no, we need to get this guy. Like, for me, looking at this guy, 22 years old. Obviously, he's been on loan, had a successful
What
spell.
is he? Is he Swedish?
No, he's English.
He's English. He looks Swedish. I don't know why I said that. I just think, do you know, maybe it is
No,
reminded me of a boy for Real, Real Sociedad this
all
season.
right.
No, he's at Newcastle now. Yeah.
Oh, Isak, right,
Aye.
right.
Maybe he was good as him. Maybe that's what I've got hanged in my head. Honestly silly. I'm a silly lad, lads.
Nah, he's aye. I think for his versatility, for the clips that I've saw on him, he's sort of running with the ball and he looks comfortable with the ball as well. Like maybe a move like this could suit him. I just hope we don't overpay and pay
Look
like
at like
millions for him.
this is the point I'll make with kind of play like this. Look at the same with like George Edmondson and all those like kind of signings where they were thing. Do you know what I mean? Like I just don't want another situation with kind of
And
like that.
and then you kind of look on the other hand, like English Championship's brung us Aribo, it's brung us Tom Lawrence, although we want to see more of him. Ben Davies obviously played the majority of his time down there as well, and he's doing good things for us now. So I think it's one to keep an eye on. I think it's in a position that we desperately need again. You just hope eventually one of them works out. And aye, we'll see how this one goes. But again, the rumor only sort of came out the day, so Michael
As I
Beale's
say,
press conference tomorrow will be
interesting.
it'll be interesting because the questions are going to be asked now. Like we're halfway into a transfer window. We've had a couple of rumours. You've said there's signings coming. Where are they?
Exactly. But as I say, he said that probably thinking to himself, right, these are going to be done in hangmates. To me, it's on the people above him, man. It's on the people above him. Obviously, maybe he shouldn't
Well,
have said anything, but
that's what he said. Like he's talked to the
it's on
players. He's
them.
done his bit. Like he said in that press conference on Friday, "I've done my bit. It's up to whoever else now." So
And I like that. Put them on the spot because for me, they've not done their job well enough.
if they don't deliver 3 or 4 players this transfer window, oh my god, I can't. All hell will break loose because I don't know how they can't see the squad literally dismantling in front of your eyes. Like, although we've made it a final yesterday, I mean, you're looking at some of the players that are constantly losing you goals and potentially games and just underperforming all the time. And it's like Michael Beale has to play them because he's got nobody else to work with. So I think for a guy that's got to a final, unbeaten in his first Old Firm game and won all the rest of the games, you need to go and back him now. There's no time to fucking fanny about with it.
But we said the exact same with the
It's
previous
exactly
coach.
Giovanni get done wrongly with that as well.
And it's just, it feels like you're going in circles where I just don't want to see this manager not get what he deserves because for me, as you say, you back him, you bring in the players that hang. For me personally, I thought the first half yesterday should have been 3 or 4, man. The game should have been done, but I trust Michael Beale. It's just the people on top now. Get your job, get doing it. Because the manager said he wants 2 or 3 in. He expects 2 or 3 in this window. I want to see the kind of player that he's identified and he wants into the club, how they fit. I really wanted him should be a goalkeeper, but I mate, it'll be interesting. Obviously, next week we'll have our sort of players we feel like we should be going in for. So that should be interesting. I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
doing that.
hopefully we actually have some would you call it, some signings in before then, so then I can think, right, where else do we need to go and buy players? But we'll hopefully get that done. Obviously, we can talk about the cup game against St Johnstone that week as well, and then we've got a whole week again to wait until the next St Johnstone game away. So that's been the episode. There's been quite a lot in this one, and I just hope Michael Beale's press conference tomorrow, because that's really all I'm waiting on is positive, and we hopefully get some players in the door and the right players. But that's been the podcast this week. If you could like, subscribe, share for us, and we'll be back next week. Cheers.